Okay, brothers and sisters, it's Brother L coming to you from Baltimore, Maryland. A couple of issues I want to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about black people's attentiveness to just black affairs, okay, black interests and things of that nature, political interests, economic interests, even our social interests, okay. A lot of people understand may not be as proficient in learning and may have certain type of handicaps in reading and things of that nature, okay? But there are some individuals out there, a lot of us, who are able to learn information and then break the information down into what's called layman's term, okay? A layman, a regular Joe. You understand what I'm saying? A person that's still on a dead level, okay, as if laying down, all right. That's what a layman mean. A person who has not been risen, brought up from a dead level and standing on a square, living perpendicular. And this is also what's meant by thinking outside the box, okay? Being able to think outside the box means to think outside of Freemasonry or the construct of Freemasonry or the wisdom of Freemasonry, all right? Being able to think on a non-Freemasonic level, on a layman's level, all right? So you got individuals like myself who are able to, step into both worlds, okay? I can step in the world of the learned and the professors and all that kind of shit, and I can hold my own amongst them. And then I can also take that information and break it down so that the average brother and sister on the street can understand, what's going on, okay? But here's where the shit gets fucked up. It's where people's inability to then take personal responsibility for the information once they get it. And there's a lot of so-called conscious people who also do the same thing. I told you before, along with consciousness comes respondability, okay? Respondability, your ability to respond to the shit once you learn what the fuck is going on. Alright, if you're conscious, once you learn about some fucked up shit that's happening or going on, there should be some type of personal response from you. You understand what I'm saying? If you're aware, if you're awake. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's a construct of becoming conscious. It's not just that you're at a dead level, all right, and then you learn about a little knowledge of self and you go from dead to conscious. Nah, man, you skipping a whole bunch of shit in between. You know what I mean? You got unconsciousness or a dead level, all right? Then you have what's called self-awareness. That's where you get the fucking knowledge of self at. So that's just the first goddamn stage or step to becoming conscious, all right? You don't just go from dead to dead to conscious. You know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of you motherfuckers out there have done. You've just gone from dead and watched a couple videos and read a couple books, and now you jumped all over the middle shit and just gonna go from dead to conscious. You gotta go through a awakened state, then you have to go through a awareness state, then you have to go through what's called an application state, in which you start applying some of the things that you learn. You're beginning to cross-reference some of the shit you learn. In other words, you're learning about gentrification, for instance, okay? And then you start to make a comparative analysis as to different, you start to visualize and think of and perhaps go around town and shit and start seeing where gentrification is taking place. You'll start pinpointing certain examples throughout your community and everything that are signs of gentrification. I don't even like that word gentrification. This shit ain't nothing but new colonialism. So neo-colonialism or just colonialism, white colonialism is the same shit. It's just motherfucking whites coming in reclaiming or taking back some shit, that they had once surrendered. You know what I'm saying? Because they in the taking business. You understand what I'm saying? That's what the fuck they do. They take. You know what I mean? And white people, man, they are so goddamn tricky and deceptive. I don't understand how on the one goddamn point, you sit up there and you say like, the world is too populated and 8 billion motherfuckers need to die, right? 8 billion motherfuckers need to die. And then you sit up there and try to propagate to the people, you goddamn Mr. Saver nigga and shit. Like in what Reagan did with that Grenada shit. You know, Grenada. You know what I'm saying? Another name for Haiti and all that other shit. It's, you know what I'm saying? They don't speak of Grenada no goddamn more. And the reason why they don't speak about Grenada no more is because under the Reagan administration, Reagan sent in some forces to go in there and kill all the goddamn niggas that was in Grenada. And they didn't even tell the soldiers, they kept the soldiers in the blind and just told the soldiers, they didn't tell the soldiers where they were flying them to. And then once they got there, they told them, kill every goddamn thing you see. You know, they told them, kill every goddamn thing you see. And once the soldiers start, you know, landing and start seeing the individuals out there walking around and they were just gunning them down, they like, wait a minute, these goddamn motherfuckers is black people. These motherfuckers look like us. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. So, you know, that neo-colonialism and the contradiction, you know what I'm saying? These people are like a living contradiction, a contradiction in the flesh, a contradiction incarnate. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, which one is it? You know what I'm saying? Is it that 8 billion people need to die, starting with the niggas, or is it, you know, we going this person over here? They use the same type of lie, the same construct when they want to go in and take over a nation. First, they have to use what's called, I told you, crisis creation. They have to create a crisis. They use the same goddamn construct and blueprint with goddamn Castro, Idi Amin, with goddamn Noriega, with goddamn Papa Doc in Haiti, and his son Baby Doc, the Dubaiers. They use the same goddamn shit with Gaddafi, with Saddam. They use the same goddamn thing with the leader of Syria. How you doing, Larry? With the nigga in Syria. And that propaganda campaign was something like this. They're killing their own people. There's civil disruption. He's committing genocide on his own people and all that kind of shit. They raping their women. That's another good one that they always lie and say. You know what I mean? And at what point do you wake up? What point do you spot and say, wait a minute, I heard this shit before? Nah, you ain't heard it before, goddamn it. You heard it about goddamn 10 times throughout the past. You know what I mean? They did the shit with the Panama nigga. They did the shit with Noriega. They did the shit with Marcos, with Ferdinand Marcos. They did the shit with goddamn Hugo Chavez. You understand what I'm saying? They did the shit with Idi Amin. I told you, Saddam Hussein. They did the shit with Gaddafi. They did the shit with Idi Amin. We got that Castro. Same goddamn lies, man. Same goddamn lies. This nigga ain't never gonna get the shit. Ask me for this shit no more. I leave it out for him and leave this shit to sit there. I'm sorry. So yeah, you know what I mean? And these are the lies that they propagate in order the crisis they create to justify putting soldiers on the ground so they can go in and colonialize some shit. Take some shit. Armed motherfucking robbery. The second part of the crisis created event and doing it first day. Ooh, that trash smells bad. I gotta dump this trash. First, you know, they propagate all these lies and shit, first of all. And hold tight for a minute. Throw this aluminum pan away too. Need to buy some new ones. I've used these enough. Okay, the second part is what they do is either they'll take footage, right? They'll take some footage that they shot years prior of a whole different geographical region, right? And they'll run that same old footage, right, as if that's the foot. Like in other words, they'll take some footage that they had shot in Afghanistan during the goddamn Russians fighting Afghanistan, and all the shit just got to be in color. You know what I mean? And they'll run that shit as propaganda video to justify moving on goddamn Iraq. You understand what I'm saying? It don't even be Iraq footage. It be goddamn Afghanistan footage. But they're, you know, that's what they're able to do with news media. It's they shit. You know what I mean? And they can put that shit together like goddamn Lego blocks and build it and build it up however the fuck they want to build it up. You know, all the goddamn pieces are goddamn, hold on for a minute. All goddamn pieces are interchangeable. You understand what I'm saying? It can be built and motherfucking dismantled and reassembled in a whole different way using the same goddamn pieces though. So the shit will always look like the original, like it belongs, okay? Because the pieces are the same, like Legos. You know what I'm saying? It's like you make a Lego house with some bricks and shit, and then you dismantle the Lego house, and then you build a goddamn a Lego boat using the same pieces that you used to make the house. So you could then propagate association of the goddamn boat with the house because the pieces look like they belong. You dig what I just now said? I hope that got to some of y'all, all right? The pieces look like they belong. And that's all it fucking needs to do is look like it belongs. All right? Remember what they say. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Okay? So that's why conspiracy theorists always get snubbed the fuck off. Okay? It's no such thing as a conspiracy theory if the goddamn facts are presented. You understand? A theory is an educated guess. Okay? But when once you present facts, then it's no longer a goddamn theory. Okay? It's a conspiracy, period. Ain't no goddamn word behind it. It ain't no conspiracy truth. It ain't no conspiracy facts. Once you can prove the shit is no longer a theory because you've backed it up either by way of an experiment or by research gathering and shit like that, and a presentation of facts, then it's just a conspiracy, period. You know what I mean? We no longer in the goddamn realm or area of theory. You know what I'm saying? Shit. That's how all science or research is done. It's a blueprint for that shit. You know what I mean? You start off with a premise. You know what I mean? You start off with a hypothesis first. A thought. Okay? And then you got your premise. What you got your hypothesis, all right, your idea of how you think shit is going to be. Then you come up with your premise. What you plan on doing to prove this goddamn hypothesis is actually the way you think it's going to turn out. All right, that's your premise. Okay, then you're going to have to do what's called an experiment. All right, an experiment, and that's usually in the form of like an actual experiment. It could be an actual experiment. It could be a poll that's taken. It could be a gathering of facts. Okay, the best place to find a lot of fact finding information to validate something is by way of through history. Malcolm said, of all things to reward all research, history is best suited. So if you're doing any type of research and development or research on a particular thing, even if that thing doesn't already exist, but you believe that a certain thing, a certain event or circumstance is going to turn out a certain type of way, then the best thing I suggest for you to do is go into history and find similar occurrences and the way that they turned out. You know what I mean? And from doing that, now you have a basis for believing what the fuck you believe. You understand what I'm saying? This is how these type of things are done, man. They're constructs, they're formulas, man. They're blueprints. You know what I mean? There are schematics, man. You know what I'm saying? There are goddamn equations. You dig? On how you should do things. That's why I always tell you, the reason why black people are very poor at getting things accomplished and done is their inability to follow simple goddamn directions. So if you have a formula, a schematic, a blueprint, you know what I mean, an equation, a construct that's given to you, do A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then you get the shit, and then you do fucking C, B, D, A, right? 2, 4, 3, 1. You didn't follow the goddamn construct, formula, equation, you know what I mean, blueprint or schematic. You understand? You did this, you improvised the shit based on what you thought, how you felt like doing the shit. And then you sit up there and say, that was some bullshit. No, it wasn't that it was some bullshit. You didn't follow simple goddamn directions. And that's why you didn't get the goddamn results as your predecessor. You understand what I'm saying? It's a reason why motherfuckers have constructs, equations, formulas. It's a reason why physics and mathematics have equations. Do it this way. You know what I mean? First do this, second do that, third do this. You understand what I'm saying? Because it is by following these goddamn directions or this goddamn blueprint or formula is what's going to get you the proper result. Or even a recipe if you're cooking some goddamn food. You know what I mean? You mix your goddamn dry ingredients first and your wet ingredients together first before you combine them. You understand what I'm saying? That's so they get mixed together properly. You understand what I'm saying? So you just don't take no goddamn eggs and just throw in flour and then throw in some goddamn cocoa powder. No, you mix your goddamn flour and cocoa powder together separately in one bowl first. Then you mix your goddamn eggs, you know what I mean, and your milk and shit in a separate bowl second. And you mix them together. Then you bring the two together to make sure that the ingredients get mixed thoroughly and properly. You know what I mean? If you to fucking throw the cocoa powder in the eggs and try to stir that up, it's going to separate. It's not going to mix properly. Then throw some flour in there and try to mix that in. It ain't going to mix properly. And if you mix the dry ingredients together first, and then the egg and the milk together first in a separate bowl, then you combine the two, you're going to have a better mix. A smoother mix, an equal mix. You know what I mean? It's not going to be separated. So, there's a reason why we have certain things like constructs, blueprints, formulas, recipes, or whatever fuck you want to call this shit. All right? And it's important that you follow simple goddamn directions, especially once you research a thing and find that it has been tried, tested, and proven to be effective, or whether it's been tried, tested, and proven to be ineffective. You know what I mean? There will always be consequences and repercussions based on what you do and what you fucking don't do, all right? This is Brother Live Ill. Peace.